Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do.
No.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that flashy thing is cool, by the way. Can we do that again? That
The
thing is
flashy one is
beautiful.
really nice.
That looks amazing.
This is good. Yeah, so normally we always start with the loading speaker animation, but we just realized that it still had the old logo. Luckily, our friends at IKEA released a light that it looks a bit like the inside of a logo, except for, of course, the stem, the angle. Not we'll write them a letter saying they need to correct it.
Is it smart?
No.
No.
Yeah, well, it has this thing which is it's semi-smart. They do it actually with the electric candles. Like, in Denmark, they sell a lot of electric candles where it turns on for 6 hours, automatically turns off for 18, and then the next day. So basically, you turn it on once in the evening and it will automatically turn on every night. Smart, semi. I mean, it's a little bit smart. It's just local. It's like hyper local, so it doesn't even come out of the device.
Nice.
Hello, everyone. Yeah.
Oh, hello.
Welcome to the Home Assistant Release Party 2023 10. And because there's a 10 in the month, it also means that Home Assistant is 10 years old and 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We celebrate our big 10-year anniversary last month. We did some cool announcements. In case you've missed it, don't worry, we're definitely going to talk about it today. The first thing you might have noticed, new logo, my shirt, old logo. Behind Frank, not a logo. Next to Joost Lek, that is the logo, slightly sideways. But yeah, let's introduce ourselves. My name is Paolo Schoutse. I'm the founder of Home Assistant.
Hi, I'm Frank. I'm work on the Home Assistant project, and you mostly know me from doing the release notes, actually.
Well, and I'm Joost, 25 years old from Netherlands, and I'm just working on Home Assistant in my free time, which has been a lot lately.
Nice. Yeah, so we invited Joost because he's been helping a lot lately. He's been really helping. Like, we've set out sometimes these paths of like, oh, this is an improvement that we can apply to every integration, and Joost has been relentlessly attacking every integration to make sure that they all are up to speed and up to our coding standards, translation standards, quality standards, speed, everything. So we thought, you know what? Why don't we invite Joost? And I don't know. Let's talk a little.
Yeah, happy to be here.
There's actually quite a bunch of mentions in this release notes as well, by the way. He did a lot. Oh boy.
7.
All right. So I'm going to invite a clone of myself. I've been able to.
You even synced on the shirts.
Okay, I'm taking mine off. Hi, Marcel.
Good evening, all.
So Marcel's joining us today as well. Yeah, Marcel, what do you do?
Currently, I'm enjoying this live stream. Well, just before I entered, I was actually working with Joost together to do some new PR. So,
yeah.
Well, mainly I work on Matter, but also some on new.
Yeah. So yeah, you'll definitely know Marcel from you, from Matter. He also does a little bit of looking at Z-Wave. In the past, he did a lot on Z-Wave, right? The transition to Z-Wave JS. Yeah. I'm gonna move Marcel with Joost. This is like just a bit more.
Yeah.
More contrast.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, we have a lot to discuss about today. Of course, our anniversary. I also want to talk about you, actually, what happened last month. And and the release, of course. So you start with the release?
let's start with our birthday. That's the most recent thing. Like, happy birthday.
Yeah. It's
Right?
It's wild. I mean, I don't want to repeat the whole like live stream where we did.
Let's not do it
Like,
again.
oh, it was such a small script and we grew. And
We're not gonna sing songs, No.
But we do have. So we have a new logo, which you probably have seen in the apps, in the website. We have new merchandise as well, which is still on its way, as you can see from our wardrobe. But the coolest new thing is the Home Assistant Green. So we have built a new hub. It is everything about the Green is focused to be as affordable as possible, the easiest entryway into the Home Assistant community. And what that means is that the price has been the focus. Every time we had to like decide on something, we're like, no, it's going to be cheaper. It's going to be cheaper. So it is not expandable like the Yellow. It doesn't have Zigbee or Thread like the Yellow, but it runs Home Assistant, and you can get it right now on pre-order because the first batch has already sold out. We see the prices are $99, or in Europe, the prices kind of vary a little bit. I've seen them as low as €95, and I've seen them as high as €120. It depends a bit on your distributor. But it's awesome. The Green, I'll have it showed right here. It's beautiful. The box, but also the Green itself. Of course, it has the new logo. The box is the bottom side. Explains all cool stuff. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely check out the blog about it. Most likely, if you're watching the stream, the Green is not for you. Like, this is, I think, our main way we're trying to like. Yeah.
I wonder how it looks on my stream.
It's
definitely green.
Yeah, so why am I saying it's not for you? It is because the Green is really the entryway into Home Assistant. If you don't know what Home Assistant is, you want to kind of experience it, you're outgrowing Google, Apple, Amazon ecosystems, then yeah, try out the Green. The Green can connect, matter over Wi-Fi devices, it connect to your Philips Hue, your Aqara can be integrated, SwitchBot can be integrated. A lot of these things that just go over Wi-Fi, the hubs, of course, for SwitchBot, they can just be integrated. If you want more, you can, for example, add a Sky Connect or any other Zigbee Z-Wave stick to expand that kind of functionality. And so it's really a foundation to start with.
What I really like about it, like it is just it's like a child of the blue and the yellow we had. Like, it has the hefty, nice build, heavy weight quality, and the large cool element on the bottom that the blue had, which makes it run cool, but also makes it feel really sturdy and solid. And it has the transparent like top side of the yellow, which
this is not a good. This is a prototype. I shouldn't show this. This is not.
Well, this one is transparent, but but in the end, like we prepared this very well. Yeah, I just realized it on stream. Then again, I think that like blue and yellow makes green, right? And yeah, that's so fitting. That's just impossible.
Yes, there you go. That's the
real one.
I still see my background.
Yeah, it's like a mirror now. But this is better, right?
But yeah, so the Green is awesome. It will be available again end of October to beginning of November. It kind of depends on where you order. Basically, the manufacturing is done end of October, and then it still has to get to distributors and then to you. But it should all be there in time for Christmas, so that's good.
Which, by the way, a good thing to mention. Like on the release, we only had it available through Seed. The next batch, or right now, they're all available for pre-order through distributors. So if you go to our website and go to homeassistant.io/green, you can actually get a list of where you can buy it, even like more closely to your home, maybe even a local one.
Yeah. So it's great. Boom, boom.
Nice.
Next up, So we have a new logo. I'm gonna. Not only do we have a new logo, we also have merchandise, and the merchandise has been updated. The merchandise store banner picture has not been updated, but
No,
I'm
we
just.
should. We have
Yeah,
so
but
many places
they,
with.
they would allow you to just automatically, whenever render your logo shirt on like fake people and stock photos, and so that's how the current one is made. Anyway, I'm going to share my screen such that everybody. I'm going to show you how you get there. So that you go to homeassistant.io, boom, boom, boom. Join the Home Assistant T-shirt revolution. That text has not been updated since I introduced it. So yeah, there's a lot of different shirts. Marlena went a little crazy. We have even like one that contains the first commit, like the whole source code of Home Assistant. Mugs.
And we review it.
Year-old. Some stickers.
With the red Sharpie on your new T-shirt.
Yeah, sure. We're going to review it with a red Sharpie. Yeah.
So yeah, lots of cool shirts. The old logos are also still available in case you're interested in that. I personally like this one, the badge, kind of like a circle. So yeah, definitely go check it out. And I just made a coupon code. So if you are ordering and seeing this right now, if you use the coupon code PARTY,
Jesus.
then you get 10% off. So yeah,
that is a party. Oh,
I hope it works. I'm not too familiar with it. I always this UI store.
I must say, I really like the mugs. I always wanted mugs, and now we have mugs. So
the next live stream we'll be drinking coffee from the mug, right?
Maybe yes. Like that one I like a lot.
That'll be the goal.
I like it a lot. That looks good. Would
And
be great
stickers.
on my desk.
The stickers are new too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have new stickers. There's also a sticker in the box, by the way, of the Home Assistant Green. Privacy, choice, sustainability. The idea of this sticker is more in the green box, is to kind of like, like this house is protected by, and this is like powered by Home Assistant. Okay, that was the merchandise. If you once again, if you haven't seen the stream, it was really cool. Check it out. I see somebody asking, is the old logo still available? Yes, yeah, it's right there. That will probably just stay available. So yeah.
History.
Yes. All right. So what's next? So we talk about the release?
Yeah.
So,
logo is there, some other stuff. So we'll get there. Indeed. So let's first talk about this new beautiful header image that's also there with the new logo. All things are restyled thanks to Madalena. It's beautiful. It is absolutely.
And is it a tree or an antenna? That's like the big question.
Nobody
knows.
No,
we don't know.
I don't think it's an antenna, because an antenna is either, if it's on a PCB edge, it's like a continuous line, like on the ESP Home logo.
Yeah.
But it's also not a tree, because trees have leaves or not always end up in a knob. So it's ambiguous by design.
Yeah. If somebody says antennas, we won't say it's not true. Nodes are fine and whatever. Interconnected devices.
I mean, here, if you look at the way the promo here, we put it in it's the integrations, right? Like every node is a vendor in your house that we all tie together into your smart home.
True. I'm going to try to resize this a little bit, see if I can get it a little bit higher and bigger. Does it work? Yay! I can do it. Wow.
Yeah.
Tricks.
It is October, but I don't know where you guys are, but here it's like 27 Celsius. It's nuts. It's so warm.
25 Celsius expected this weekend here. It's just makes no sense still. Yeah. But I got enough firewood for the winter, so
we're not going to complain, Frank. We're Dutch.
No, I'm not. I'm not complaining.
No.
Oh, I do like the winter. Like, I know it's still 81 days until Christmas. Like that, those are hard facts of today, right? Like it's stuff you look forward to, and like that this weather doesn't fit that still.
No, that's true.
Right. Okay, the release. That's where we're at. It looked beautiful. We'll get to the logos here a little bit later on what they actually mean, because I don't remember the names with the logos. That's the downside, I would say. Previously, we used the big one with the names in them, but I have no idea. This is Bluetooth,
The
obviously.
Bluetooth one, yeah. This.
Yeah, but that's a special one too.
The most interesting one.
I would. It's actually one of the highlights of the release, but it is an integration. But we'll discuss it. I think this one is great. We'll get there. All right, scrolly scroll. Here we go. The introduction is, by the way, interesting. You should read it. There's some like looking back at the 10 years of Home Assistant a little bit with links. If you're interested, what happened there, you can go there. But more exciting, the announcement of the Chapter 4. Which is coming after the Year of the Voice. I'm not.
Jason is
This is so bad. Ponko party for a merch store. What?
And enabled it live for everyone, and like I have the best gestures now. So yeah.
This is so. I need to upgrade my system. I want that too. Nevertheless.
Okay,
Year of the Voice. It is the Year of the Voice, right? And we will get into Chapter 4. Everybody, I've seen the last release and the release before that. Everybody asking for more voice features. Well, I've seen the demo. Make sure you sit tight when you watch that on the 12th. Tune in. The link is here. Like, click like you want to watch it and be notified. You definitely don't want to miss that. This is going to be word I cannot say, insane. So. Be sure to tune in.
Can I just jump to a question? So somebody's asking, is it going to be a month of What the Heck this year? No. We are doing Hacktoberfest as always. Like people can get like Hacktoberfest points when they open pull requests. We're not doing month of What the Heck each year. Generally because it needs to kind of, you need to like get frustrated again after we solve all the things from last time. Now the thing is that like if we do it every year, I think the participation will also be lower. So we do it every other year. We did twice now. It's always been super helpful. Helps us define our strategy, a roadmap, things to work on. So I'm not doing it this year. Next year again. If you have issues, by the way, you can open an issue report. You need a bit more information than a What the Heck, I guess.
Yeah, and the community forums has a feature request section as well, right? So if you really want something, go there. See, maybe somebody else has the same feature request as well, so you can give it a thumbs up and a vote as well. That also always helps. But yeah, this year, no month of What the Heck. All right. Well, because of all this birthday stuff and the voice stuff, this release is a bit smaller, which I think is actually it's not that much smaller. It's still almost 1,000 PRs, by the way, 980 something, which is crazy, even though, considering all of the other stuff. But yeah, it is. There's a lot of focus on the voice, and you will definitely get a reward this month. I assure you. All right, so let's see what's in here.
No, Frank, before you continue, I just saw a great question that somebody was like,
go.
This one is great. I thought, help, wondering why my full backup is now half the size as it was before I upgraded. Yes.
I will get there. I'm going to promise you. Keep watching. I will explain. There's a good reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is very well noticed, by the way, but the backups indeed reduced amazingly in size. Yeah. All right. First thing first, we have a new logo. Paul's already showed it. We already talked about it, but this is how it looks. It's beautiful. It's amazing. I've seen some people that don't like it, which I think is fine. Like it's a taste thing as well. But yeah, we're proud. I'm proud. It looks beautiful. Thank you, Madalena. And this release, it's actually inside Home Assistant itself too. So if you update, it will be used there. Look, there it is. Ta-da. Yeah. It will show up in many more places, of course, not just this screen. There's still many places we haven't updated the logo yet. like probably 10,000 places we still need to go through, but we're slowly getting there, so that takes time. But for now, it's at least inside your Home Assistant there.
Yeah, I think the big thing here was that we didn't want to like prepare all the work and then do the birthday stream, announce it, and boom, put everything out there, because it always puts so much pressure on doing like a release and all the work and the announcements all at the same time. So we're working on it as fast as we can. So it's coming.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's basically everything I have about the logo. But since we're already into like changing styles and designs and making everything more beautiful, we have another one for you, which is our brand new My Home Assistant buttons. Oh.
Yes, these are nice.
So I'm just not sure what to say and how to respond to that policy. But yes, I like them too. So yeah, these are the My Home Assistant buttons. However, what is it? Can somebody, who wants to pick that up? Throwing a bone here.
Oh, yeah.
What is My Home Assistant?
You were on a vibe, so we were like, okay,
Oh,
he's
sorry.
gonna tell us, but
This is all like scripted and really well practiced always.
yeah.
No, the new logos look great. I think the biggest change is indeed it is a button. Previously it was a badge, and there's kind of this thing where a badge is meant to show information, but we abused it to show like click here. And so it actually also happened that a lot of people didn't realize they could click on it. They just thought it was a badge of like my integrations. What does that mean? So we've changed that. What you see here is the My Home Assistant logo of My Home Assistant, but the actual buttons now have changed. The text has changed. It is now a clear call to action, and it looks like a button. So such that it looks like
I got it. I got it here.
Yeah. So something like this: show integrations of My Home Assistant, show config or like entities of My Home Assistant, show devices, any of these buttons that you know today, these links that you can share with friends and families to quickly send them to their Home Assistant instance. They all now look nicer. And just kind of a background, because some people don't realize why do we need this. It is because we all host Home Assistant at home. There is no cloud. And at home, you can choose to put Home Assistant on an IP address. Maybe it's Home Assistant.local, which is this for most of us. Maybe you have two, and so you have one called Home Assistant Office. That is your favorite instance. So linking to your Home Assistant instance is not trivial. So we've added My Home Assistant, which is really just a redirect service. It stores the address of your instance in your browser, so it's not stored anywhere else. It's not stored in the cloud, but it allows us from anywhere in our documentation, but also in documentation of custom components and add-ons, whatever. Everywhere you see these buttons to add things quickly to your integration, to your instance. And if you ever feel like I want to make one, so there's a create link. If you go to my.home assistant, there's a create link at the bottom. However, the coolest thing is that inside Home Assistant at any point in time, you can hit the M button, the M of My, and it will open My Home Assistant with the page selected or create link with the redirect to the page that you were currently on. So if you are on the logs page or the integrations page, you hit M, you will open My Home Assistant and get different ways of sharing that.
So I can hit M now?
Yeah, I didn't realize that either.
Aha, this doesn't work. The best example. Oh, my blinker fluid is empty.
Yeah. So if you go to show all repairs, for example.
No, I'm clicking on the wrong screen. That's
But now
when you repairs, right?
It's
going to open it in a new page, right?
Yes, it's opening in a new page, which you don't see, but it's opened. Let me show one. Share this tab. It opened this tab, and then it has repairs with the link and the markdown for it and the HTML for it.
Yeah,
cool.
So, and if you, for example, if you're linking people to add-ons and it is in a repository that they might not have, you could actually add the add-on repository in the My Link. So they will be added like, oh, do you want to add this repository so you can add this add-on? And My Links are made in such a way that we will never do any action without confirmation of the user inside their Home Assistant instance. So even you open the My Home link, when you click on a link, it will ask you like, oh, do you want to open this link in your Home Assistant instance? When you get to Home Assistant, once again, it will ask you to confirm.
So to clarify, if I copy this URL and will give it to you, Paulus, and you would click on it, it would open your instance with the repairs dashboard open, right?
Yes. Well, it will actually. You want to do it right now, or like it just to show?
That doesn't work because it goes into multiple tabs, I guess.
Well,
right, I can do this. I clicked on it, and then I had this one.
Yeah. So the first tab, if you have figured your Home Assistant URL, you could enter it. We enter the default URL, which is correct for a lot of people. I guess not for Frank. So it's a good thing we ask it.
No, yeah, I always test new devices, right? So then it's Home Assistant.local for the default. So I switched my production instance to a different one. Otherwise, I would constantly have a naming conflict. But that for most people it would definitely be just Home Assistant.
Yeah. So now if you click save, the next time you're not asked for this URL. Instead, you can see that the URL is now shown at the bottom. There's a small pencil icon to change it, and it's like open the page in Home Assistant. You'll be linked to the page. It will open repairs. Boom, you're back in Home Assistant. So full circle, you can press M again, go to the URL. Yes.
Oh, now we're full circle. Yes. Okay, I almost clicked it as well. See what you did there. Yeah.
So yeah, My Home Assistant is awesome, and it has a new look.
What is cool about this as well? Let me see if I can quickly pull it up. I guess I can. Hold on. Because we use these links not just for sharing with each other, right? So if we go into, I know you don't see this. Hold on. Integrations. Right. Share tab. So if we go to our documentation, for example, you want to add Philips Hue.
Okay, make it zoom out a little because now it's
there's a bridge in common, just saying.
You need an account, right?
No.
We'll get to that actually. That's a good bridge.
Plus a bridge. It's a bridge. That's even like double.
It's the bridge.
Never mind. But this is so bad.
I'm not going to.
Not everybody will get these. Now, never mind.
No.
James asking, is this link saved in browser cache? Yes, it is saved in. It's not local storage, but it's inside your browser.
Yeah, we don't know. Home Assistant doesn't know. It's not saved anywhere. Like it's a static page actually. So that's
it's saved, but it's in the browser cache. It's completely private.
So you noticed me having to enter it just now. That's because I've been using a different browser to stream than I usually work with. I use Google Chrome to stream right now. So that's why it asked. It didn't know. But if you go to our documentation, in this case, the documentation page of Philips Hue, for example, and you're here and you're like, well, I want to add Philips Hue, you can actually just click on that button and it will bring you to your instance adding Philips Hue, which brings me here. And if I then open it, bam, you want to set up Philips Hue. Oh, here we go. It didn't find one, but
now it's asking for manual configuration. If there is a discovered one, we will show the discovered one as well. So
I have one, but it's already configured, so that's why it's acting up. But yeah, the documentation here is that's a really good example to make it easier, interconnect our documentation and any website or blog or support or whatever we want to your instance without knowing your URL. So I think My Home Assistant is really cool and really good, and it has now beautiful call to action buttons as well that are actual buttons instead of badges.
I see in the comments that a bunch of people are learning new things about pressing the M, and it's I feel like every release party we should just reintroduce one of our features like it's new and about it.
You can press M, C, and E. No, we had all three. You didn't know? Okay.
No.
What was the rest doing?
Comments like people, huh? What's that?
Sorry, what
Um,
does?
What does the rest
Look
do?
at the comments.
What does
A
the
lot more
rest do?
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's E?
Yeah, we'll find out. Entity search.
Explode. Oh, no.
No, entity. And S is for what's S for? System command, something. Anyway.
Okay, so since we have Philips Hue open, I want to do a quick sideway because we published a blog post September 22nd about Philips Hue will force users to upload their data to uCloud. And I just kind of want to talk about the issue. I want to talk about the follow-up from Philips Hue real quick because they are going to make some changes based on our feedback, which it was a pity we had to go publicly with this feedback. We always try to help companies stay in the right direction without going public. But in this case, it was necessary to go public because we couldn't get in touch or didn't get a response. So what was happening? Philips Hue is changing the way you connect to Philips Hue hubs. So they have a bridge. The bridge talks Zigbee to the lights. And basically, until now, you could start using your lights without connecting to the internet. You could use a Philips Hue account. And if you would configure a Philips Hue account, you would get remote access, integration with Google. You could use Matter, which is a bit weird because that's a local API, integration with Amazon. But it would also share your device information with their cloud. And so, we went through the privacy policy, and the privacy policy states the data that comes through us, we can use, and our partners to improve our service. So basically it means, great, they can now share if you have an account, they can share your data. Now, this is okay because the account was optional, right? But what happened is that their announcement is that, and let me just show the screenshots. They said, Hue accounts are designed to enhance your system security. Starting soon, you'll need to be signed in. So our major concern here was that it's changing after the fact, right? If you buy a device because it's private, and then after that they're saying sorry, you need to upload your data with us anyway, that sucks, right? That's just not correct. You shouldn't have that. A lot of us would probably not have bought Philips Hue if our data was being shared. So now, we made some noise. And then in The Verge last week, they were managed to get a hold of the inventor of Philips Hue. And he said that they're going to change their privacy policy in such a way that you will be able to opt out of sharing your data if you have an account. So you can still log in with an account because that is going to be mandatory, but you will not have to share your data with the cloud, which I guess will also mean you don't have access to remote access and these kind of things again, which is okay.
Correct.
And
that account is not a bad thing per se, because it's the current security on the bridge is a bit low, and what they did is actually kind of nice that you can actually manage all the application that has access to the bridge, and that's a benefit. But
so my problem with that is that makes sense in a way. I agree, Marcel. But my problem with it is that if let's say I got my bridge not connected, I don't have an account, I don't want that stuff. I have enough of that. So it's connected and it works right now. And to connect it to Home Assistant or anything else, like the app itself even, it says, hey, I found it, press the button. So you have to go to the actual bridge and press a physical button to pair it to the app or Home Assistant, for example, right? Which is beautiful, but the security reason or feature that I've seen or has been discussed or suggested is that, well, if somebody else has physical access, they can do that. Okay, cool. I understand. Then that doesn't work. So let's use accounts. But the problem with accounts is that if you log in, you have access.
Yeah.
So if I give you my username and password,
but you can secure to two-factor authentication, and it's
No, right, but it's the same thing, right? It's now you're starting to depend on a cloud mechanism that gives you access if you have the right login details, which is that's my problem with it right now. Even the data, the data discussion, the data sharing and the private data you give and the privacy on that's discussion one, which I think is the biggest deal in here. But I do think that they are currently constantly saying in social media, like, "Hey, this is for advanced security.
that's
Like we're
bullshit.
improving,"
Yeah.
and that's just bullshit. Because right
Yeah.
now I don't have it connected to anything. It's locked
Yeah.
away. You cannot reach it here. It's like locked.
Yeah.
You cannot physical reach it, and it's even in my house, so you have to go like 2 barriers to reach it. And if I give you like, there's no account data to give you or to leak or for them to protect or like that
Sure.
makes no sense.
But
You
this is
cannot sell me that.
Yeah, this is how we set Home Assistant Cloud as well. We don't have data, right? Like if you use
No.
remote connection through Home Assistant Cloud, it's actually end-to-end encrypted between your phone or laptop, whatever you're using outside of your house, and your Home Assistant instance. We cannot even access your data if we wanted to, or we're forced to do, because we don't have that access, which I think is beautiful, right? Like I think that is how smart home should be. It should be about privacy, and it should just be ingrained in the very core feature. And I think, what Charles is saying is like, what happens if you goes out of business or decides they want to support the hub anymore? So I think actually, this is interesting because the old hub of Philips Hue is no longer supported, but it still works and it has a local API.
Yeah. Sure.
Yep.
Actually don't know if this second hub would like be no longer supported. Can they still log into an account? Because that is not per se, like if I were Philips Hue, I wouldn't break it, right? I would at least keep that part working. Although you don't give any security updates or anything. But yeah, it is all of a sudden it becomes a question, right? Because if now all of a sudden they have power and they previously did not have power over your home. And it boils down for me about ownership, right? Like I buy a lamp. Whose lamp is it, right? Like, is it mine? Who can say what happens to my lamp? And yeah, that's
You
just,
can.
Well,
Like,
the good news is that the whole local API is still working. Without it's only the app that is like limited, because in the app they're creating some security features, and in fact we started doing PRs this week on the Hue integration to bring more of the app features into the integration of Home Assistant. So you don't need the app anymore.
I mean, that,
So
I
that's
think
a bit.
so, but does that mean, what does that mean for this? So I think one of the drivers for you to start doing this is because they introduce cameras, right? And cameras expose more private information than if your lights are on, right? So yes,
I think that's where that's come from, and some marketing guy thinks it's a good idea, but
yeah,
well,
but
the local API just keeps working, and we have tested already with completely disconnected from the internet, and it keeps working.
does the local API give you access to cameras?
No,
No,
just the
so-
sensors of the cameras, just the sensor.
Right,
So
and
like the
app-
motion sensor is working. I don't have a camera, so but I just observed what the API is sending, and I can see the sensors of the cameras, but not the sensors itself.
I almost feel like that the advanced security, those two words in this like tweet you're looking at, or like post or X or whatever you want to call it. There's a discussion in the chat about it as well. Anyways, like the advanced security, I feel like that they mean their cameras.
Yeah, and also their third-party connections. What Paulus also explained was like connecting it to Alexa or Google Home. They
Probably.
route it through the cloud. So I think many of our users that have the Ubridge connected already have the account set up. They might even not know it. I didn't have it, and I indeed get this nag in my app, and I just keep ignoring it until I'm like locked out. But the other stuff is still working, because, for example, this is the new contact sensor. It's part of the security lineup. It works. It will work from this release on in Home Assistant as well. So there's some good news to it. Yeah.
Right.
All right. I have an automation set up. On this.
It works.
I was testing with this. It works. And now it's the lights up. Okay.
We're all the same. We're using
This is
our
my
own
test
homes to
light.
test. Yeah. Oh, okay. Like for me, my whole home is all like a test suite. That's just.
I need to keep that alone now.
Right. That was a little segue into Philips Hue and accounts. Yeah. Frank, can we share your screen again?
Yeah. Do it. So from my buttons, we went all through. Wow.
Can you reduce the size?
Like a,
No, I think
side
it's zoomed.
Oh, yeah.
I zoomed for the
Oh,
for the the page with my buttons on it. Okay. All right. Let's do something fun. New Talkite features for climate entities.
Yeah.
And you might think now, like, we already had those last release, which is true. Last release, we already had Talkite features for the climate. Basically, the HVAC modes and temperature. But this release, we had a contribution to add the climate presets as a feature too, which is pretty nice. Let me show you how they look, because there are actually two of them. As you can see here, right here, there's the Eco and Home mode for the Ecobee here, the Ecobee thermostat to set the preset, which is nice. And then you can also set them as buttons, which is the cool part of it. You can decide how you want to display them, either as a list or as a buttons. Or as buttons, yeah. I think that's pretty nice, depending on what you like. What's even more beautiful is that if you have a lot of presets, like mine has a ton of them and I don't use them all, you can actually select which presets you want to show, which I think is helpful. At least for me, it's helpful. So thank you there, Paul.
Now, the features are turning out to be really, really nice, right? Like the way it's growing every release. And yeah, I mean, if you haven't tried them yet, you can just generate a new dashboard, add them to your dashboard for like, the cards you want, and just make a beautiful dashboard.
Yeah, they're growing really well.
I think it's also nice that you can, for example, say in the summer, I'm not going to show the heating symbol. In the winter, I'm not going to show the cooling symbol, these kind of things, right? You can make sure you don't accidentally press the wrong button.
This is a demo thermostat, by the way. My thermostat has just heating. Welcome to the Netherlands. But yeah, it is cool. I really love it. Looks really nice. So while Paul was actually working on this part, the pull down, like the drop down here, which was a really cool feature he added. He was like, hey, but this works for another entity. So introducing another feature for the Talcard this release. Pum pum pum.
No.
So it now also works. There's now a feature to add a select drop down for select entities, and he did a figure again. Yeah, he did. He did it now. So the tile card that's now a feature for select entities, and as shown in the screenshot, input select entities, which I think is really cool. Yeah. Who cooks today? I should actually use that one.
Quickly turn it to order online.
Yeah. Can make an automation. As soon as Frank is selected, then 5 minutes later, automatically switch it to order online. It's actually a pretty good idea. All right. So, tile card features again. I love them. They're
really
beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah, I think so too. We should get more ideas, more. Pay attention to the video of Everything Smart Home. There's a big more in the title there. Somewhere.
Yeah, if you have any ideas, also definitely let us know.
Oh yeah, that I definitely have more. And by the way, if you're like a creator of like cards and such, there is actually an API and like documentation on how you can like ship your own custom features for the tile card. So it's not just like we want to add more, but you can also like create custom tile card features.
Yes,
which is pretty awesome. Password managers and Home Assistant. This is almost like you want to tell it?
Oh man! Hey, you turned off my lights.
You want like this is
I'll talk about this one because I have a bit of like resentment feature. Like Home Assistant uses a browser technology called Shadowroot, and this is a 10-year-old browser technology. Initially, like invented by Google. They added it to Chrome. Later, it came to Firefox, Safari. Everybody has it. Every phone has it. Every browser has it. It's everywhere. Somehow, most but not all password managers do not work with Shadowroot. So Bitwarden work just fine. I know 1Password had experimental support for a while, doesn't have it anymore.
Gone.
And so yeah, password manager didn't work, and so people were always complaining, and we were basically taking the approach saying, like, we just use standard browser technology. This should not be our problem. It should be like your password manager just needs updating. And I guess it's been 8 years, and that didn't work out.
8 years later,
it was like
supported
it. Now all browsers supported it, and we kept waiting. And the reason why it took so much work is that we had to the form engine that we use for our login fields is the same form engine that we use for config flows and for these kind of things. So it's like it's everywhere. Like it has a lot of different support for a lot of different things. So what Paul did now is that he has re-implemented it in, like, we had to re-implement every field that we use in the whole form engine in a way that password managers support, which it means extra ongoing maintenance burden for us. But look at this. There, you no longer have to copy paste, but you can actually select from a drop down.
Just log in.
Does this mean we can also use our password managers in the config flow?
No, because config flows do not use, like, the config flows still use our normal components. Because you want, of course, to like select like whenever you need to log in.
You're filling in user and password, so then if you could use your password manager, automatically fill in.
That's actually not a bad comment.
That is that's impossible because there's so many stacked shadow rules on top of that. But really, that instead of over there, those other integrations just should integrate OAuth, right? You should never have to share your username and password for another service with us. OAuth is actually the way you facilitate these kind of things. So we'll talk in 8 years.
I'll note it in my agenda.
Yeah.
Then we turn 18, by the way. Ooh. All right. Just let it sink in. Password managers, I love it. And then we all have the Nabucco look.
I was going to say it.
Yeah,
love it. All right, password managers work. In my case, 1Password is now working, which makes me happy. So thank you there, Paul. Yeah, definitely good work.
Some more balloons, pardon.
I'm keeping it for the next.
Entity marker options. This one needs a little bit of explanation, but I think it's cool. It's contributed by Carwatts. Let's just say Tim, because his name is Tim. Hey, Tim, thank you. Thank you for your contribution. Let me try to explain what it is. You're looking at a screenshot from the map card, not the maps you see in your sidebar, but you can add a card to your dashboard, which is a map. And what you can do is you can put entities on it, which can be helpful, but then you will always see, just like Alice here, their names or their abbreviation if it's too long. But what he did, he made it possible to select if you wanted to show the value the entity currently has instead. So in this case, let's say there are a couple of entities for gas prices and gas stations you track, and it has the price per gallon or liter, wherever you're from, for your gas. You can put them on the map and show like the prices of the gas station, and then you can quickly glance and see where's the cheapest today and drive to it, which is pretty nice actually. So yeah, I think that was a cool little addition.
This feature for device trackers, right? So device trackers would just show the entity picture, and then you be like, oh yeah, that's the picture of whatever this person. So this is where it's at. I guess later, now people are doing gas station prices is a pretty popular one. So this actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think this is good. There's also another option in here. So if you have like multiple entities that show on a map, the map will automatically like zoom in and with all the entities like in the frame, right? So it will center it in such a way that you can see everything. But if you have a weird one that's always like an outlier, but you still want to have it on the map, but not like being part of center of the map, you can now say, hey, this entity is an outlier. Don't take it into account when you
That's really nice.
center the map.
The one that comes to mind right away is the International Space Station. So some people have the back in Home Assistant because you can, but it's always like somewhere in the world. You're just like boom, it zooms out, and like everything is there. So
well, if you look at this map, for example, like Alice is like a bit like, I don't know, bit away. So if we would mark Alice as not like taking into account, it would make the map like more around here ish.
Is there a map, instead of like a radius saying like, I just wanted to show everything within like 10 miles of my home or something? Like if Alice goes to like another country for holidays, I don't want to mess up my dashboard.
Right. No, I don't know. Actually. That's a good question. I don't use the map card myself that often, to be honest. So
hey Frank, I see a super interesting question. I like to print the release notes for somebody without internet. How can I do that? I think our CSS doesn't prevent it. You would have to
work.
No, you have to select the text, select the release notes, copy paste it into Word, and print it out.
Or Markdown.
Yeah, no, you can.
Yes.
Oh, you can get the Markdown first, but then you don't get the pictures, right? So it's nice if you from the browser copy paste, you get the pictures. Yeah.
The forum always made a copy. They did a pretty good job, but I deleted every release cycle, so that's not helpful now.
Now it might be possible again. It used to be that we broke the forums, right, because of like too many text, but it was the alt changes that were messing it up.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's gone. So we could try that.
Yeah. Is there no other way? It takes a lot of paper and ink. I mean, it's the same release notes, right? Like I think they're not going to get shorter if we provide a PDF. But yeah.
Nope.
All right.
Yeah. Maps. And then we're already at the other noteworthy changes.
Now
We're going to talk about, what was that again?
You had a question, why are my backups half of their size? And that is because of this first bullet point here. And we realized that ESP Home, the way it works, ESP Home is our firmware or our software to create your own smart home devices. So you can like get an ESP32, like one of those microcontrollers, something like this one. I will talk about that one in a bit. But and you can like create software with ESP Home. It will generate the software for you, install it, and then you're off to the races. Like for example, you create a small device, connect a temperature sensor. ESP Home will then have that device connect to your Wi-Fi network and publish a temperature sensor in Home Assistant. It's awesome. You can do a lot of cool stuff. A lot of our voice stuff, for example, is also built up around this. Now, we realized that as part of creating an installation of software, there's a lot of temporary files generated by ESP Home. And those were being put in your config folder. And so they were included in your backups. And that was never meant to be. So yeah, the latest ESP Home update, actually, not the Home Assistant update, has fixed this. So you will see, if you're using ESP Home, especially if you use ESP Home a lot, you will see your backup size significantly decrease, and it's good.
It's a good thing. I was discussing this with Paul the other day. His backup size went from 300 megabytes to 100 megabytes, so that's 200 megabytes less. That was 60% for him, which is just like an insane reduction in backup size. What you have to do, by the way, is just upgrade your ESP Home. This is indeed, as Paul also just said, this is not Home Assistant related at all. So just upgrade your ESP Home. It will automatically move everything for you. So there's like, you don't have to fiddle with everything. You don't have to like worry about anything. It's just happening. Just upgrade, start ESP Home, and it will take care of it.
Yeah. All right. This is one question, Frank. Where do the temp ESP Home files reside now? They reside in the data folder of the ESP Home add-on.
Yep. Yeah. Joost, what's your favorite? This is a trick question.
What do you think? Weddings, of course.
What did you do?
Well, like I have a skill of Weddings, like for 2 years now. And one of the tips I always give to new people, they're like, hey, I want to help out with Home Assistant. Now I was like, just take an integration you use, because not everyone has every integration. So you can maybe debug something. So I was like, let me do this with Withings. So when I started, the code looked like spaghetti. The Italians would be proud of it. But and I just started working on it and to make it more consistent with other integrations. And then I also saw some PR that they want cloud hooks to use Nabu Casa Cloud. Like I also want that. So that's what I added. And now the integration is not completely bug-free, but it's already way better and easier to fix. So a lot of improvements. And in the next release, I'll probably add more sensors and more features. So
you want to get
I don't really have a demo.
What device are you using, by the way, for what device do you have yourself from Withings?
I have a Body Plus, like the ones that was 17 euros at some point this week.
Yeah, the one 2 days ago was crazy.
Yeah.
The Withings Body Plus is a smart scale for your bathroom, Wi-Fi based.
Yep.
Gets you your weight. How fast is it now? Is it push?
It's with Nabu Casa Cloud or with an external URL, webhooks. So we just get notified, hey, there's new data, and you get new data.
It's Home Assistant Cloud, by the way. Just
sorry.
Home Assistant Cloud by Nabu Casa.
Yeah.
But
that just if push base is awesome, because it means that the moment you stand on the scale, and if it's like good news, you can like do a celebratory sound in the bathroom.
Some red lights if it's bad here.
You can be like,
So I noticed Joost was working on this, right? And there's one product that was already a long time on my wish list from Withings that I was like, maybe that's interesting. So now Joost is working on this. I bought one. It's the box is not green. Well, the sticker is green, but
the mat.
It's a sleep It's a sleep analyzer. So now it's push based. I thought this could be interesting. Like a lot of people make these things themselves in all kinds of ways, but I thought like this would be cool if it like sleep analyzing and such is nice too. I usually do that with Sleep Cycle and such, but you have to think about it to turn it on. Sometimes I forget, but this is just there. You can lay down. But if like this would push in like a webhook, like an instant Frank is in bed kind of thing, you could automate on that.
Yes.
So what does it do? Because like there might be people here, and I think a lot of people that are like, cool, you have a mat. Are you sleeping on a mattress now? How does it work?
So you put it under your mattress. Like you're not on top of this thing, but this is under your mattress, and it pumps air in it or something, so it can be sensitive even under your mattress, and it will track which sleep cycle you're in, like REM sleep or heavy or like deep thing or light sleep, things like that. Or you're awake, laying in your bed, like playing with your phone, it will detect that, like that you're awake at least, and it will also detect you're just waking up, things like that. But it will also track your heart rhythm, like your heartbeat, the rate of it, which is pretty nice. And it will do sleep apnea detection. Like if it detects like some weird things, it will send you like go to a doctor. So it's not a solution and not a medical thing on that, but it at least tells you like it might be wise to visit one. But yeah,
it also detects snoring, right?
Yes, snoring as well. It records audio, I think. I haven't looked back, but I'm pretty sure I got something recorded, so that would be nice.
Will you hook it to Home Assistant for a voice assistant?
Yeah.
Playback last nights.
Well, that would be nice. No, I think it will be working. Like for me, it's like just the presence part. I'm wondering if that would work. Like I use an alarm system, for example, and I want it to, when I go to bed, that it says to me like, "Hey, good night," but you haven't armed it yet. Things like that.
Right. That's actually very nice. That's it's your good night routine.
Yeah, you didn't like turn stuff off on it.
It's only on your side of the bed, so it's like. Does it do weight detection? So like if the kids are sleeping in your bed, it's like, hey, this is not Frank. We're not arming yet.
No, I don't think so. I have to like explicitly like couple it with my profile.
Okay.
Like the scale does that too. By the way, if you like have one scale in your home and people go on it, it will try to detect who's who. And if it's not sure, it will ask you to stand on one or the other leg to decide who it is. Yeah, but, yeah, that's pretty cool actually. But this thing, I don't think so. I don't know. I'm not recommending this thing yet, by the way, because I have no clue how it works. But we'll see.
If it works.
Better, that's the goal, right? That's a
So
success.
that's your fault, by the way, Joost.
I mean, I don't use a sleeping mat. I use an Android app for sleep tracking, and I also have like connected to MQTT. So when I start sleep tracking, my lights automatically go out and my ventilation goes
Nice.
normal.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, right. System. The System Bridge integration now supports notifications. System Bridge is software you can install Windows. It integrates your Windows machine into Home Assistant. Is it just Windows? Am I making this up? Does it support other OSs?
You're making this up. No, it works with more. Yes.
Okay.
It works on Mac too. I believe Linux even. Not
nice. Yeah. So it integrates other. It can integrate your host computer, for example, like your work computer. I mean, your desktop computer, and then now you can send notifications to it. So that's really cool. Which, by the way, you can, if you are running a Mac, you can also run our Mac app for notifications.
Yep.
But
that will be pretty native, actually.
Yeah.
It is native, actually, than the notification part. The picture entity card, by the way, has something cool. If you put an image in there, like the image would not always like fully fit, so it will either clip things off or like it doesn't always pretty much work as well unless the size is good. So CarWatch, Tim, thank you, Tim, actually made a way that you can select how it will fit the image into that card. Like it can clip, it could stretch it, or it could try to fit the card to the image, things like that. So it's pretty nice. There are some options there now. So if you're using the picture entity card and have been struggling with that,
this is it.
There's the solution. Pretty slick. And last but not least, there's a way to collect Z-Wave logs for troubleshooting.
Yeah. Dominique was like asking for this. The founder of Z-Wave.js, Dominique. He works at Nabu-Casa. He's working full time on Z-Wave.js. He was seeing that he would get issues, and he would ask people to enable logging. It would not enable by default. It only enables the normal logging, not the debug logging. And so he's like, "No, can we get some more logs?" So yeah, you enable debug logging, you get the full on debug logs. It's awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
New integrations. Now we're getting somewhere. I'm going to show them all. Let's talk about them. There's some interesting stuff here.
Fit all? Oh yeah. So
this is all. Is it not enough?
Yeah. The Apple Weather Kit. This is an interesting one because this is Dark Sky. Apple bought our very favorite weather service, Dark Sky. They discontinued it as a public brand, but they folded it into their developer APIs. So you can now use it again with Home Assistant Apple Weather Kit. However, and this is a big ass, however, you need an Apple developer account, which costs $100 a year. So the API calls itself are not very expensive, but if you add $100 on top of it, it is too expensive.
You need a full developer account because they have like cheap accounts nowadays, right? The free developer accounts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay, maybe it will work with a non-paid version. I don't know.
Let us know in the chat if it works with a free developer account. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Somebody's asking what happened to the Year of the Voice. So it's okay. You tuned in a little later. We talked about it already. Next Thursday, 8 days from now, we're going to have chapter 4. It's going to be freaking cool. It's
October 12th. This channel, like
be there.
The Home Assistant channel. You need to subscribe if you haven't done it and click the thumbs up and such.
Make sure you subscribe to our channel if you're on YouTube, or like it, or all these things. Repost on Twitter, reshare if you're on Facebook.
Yeah. Tweet about it. Oh no, that's not a thing anymore as well, right? To tweet,
But it
X
also,
post. Or,
yeah, if you see that our release notes are a bit smaller than normal, it is partially because of our birthday, but mainly because voice is going to be freaking awesome.
it is
So,
insane.
yeah.
I
Okay, so here's just Bruno came in. Bruno is he is joining Nabucasa soon as a full-time iOS developer, which is awesome.
I want to do the party stuff. No.
But there's no free developer account. He is also, of course.
You can develop with the play. Okay. Too bad. So question answered.
Yeah.
You need a full developer account, which is
Yeah. So then
$100.
it doesn't matter that it's the best service if it doesn't work well. Like if it's too expensive, then yeah.
I want to talk about the next one. It's EcoForest. Yes, you can control your fireplace. So, like, it's like let's talk about the fact that they chose the name EcoForest to burn it.
Burning the forest. Is it a gas-based fireplace?
Oh, it's a pellet. I believe it's pellets. Wooden pellets.
I think so. Yes.
Air pellet stoves. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's very ecological to burn it all down. Anyways, if you have one, you can use it.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's cool, right? Like, I don't have a fireplace myself, or an EcoForest for that matter, but it's cool that there's an API. Yeah, this is the question, Ludius. This is the right question. Does it load logs automatically? Because if you still have to, like, this is always like when people talk about like I want to automate my coffee machine. I'm like, yeah, but then you got to put your mug under it at some other time, right? Like it's.
Mine is connected to Home Connect, like one of those Siemens ones. Yeah, the Bosch Siemens ones. And they and it's beautiful. It works really well. I have a button in Home Assistant to make a cup of coffee, but who's putting the mug under it, right?
Yeah, that's
like it is like cool, but like
and bring it
makes
to
no
you.
sense. It makes
I
no
think
sense.
that Troy Hunt, he had a home assistant automation that he would look at the power usage of his espresso machine, and when it would automatically turn off during his office hours, he would like turn it back on again. So he had always was heated up and ready to make coffee.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
That one seems to work.
Because always when you want to grab some coffee, it's off, right? You need to wait until it's booted up, and
so what I do use.
This is they invented the webcam, right? Like the webcam was invented because somebody in a university department wanted to check if the coffee was, but if there was coffee still or not.
Nice.
By the way, I saw on Twitter once that the inventor of the webcam, he uses Home Assistant. So we're full circle.
Oh, it becomes even worse if you think about it. Really good. Think about it. If we think about things that make like this tick, like you started Home Assistant because of Philips Hue. They are kind of departing from our concept.
That's true.
So to be like full in your local and privacy and such.
Yeah. This is the way Jeroen uses Home Connect to turn on the coffee machine while he walks downstairs.
I could maybe couple it with my Withink sleeping mat, that if I get out of bed, it will turn it on already. That is actually pretty beautiful.
This is good.
Oh boy. Yeah. Thank you. Oh. I probably need to buy another one and for the missus as well. Anyways,
James uses SwitchBot. SwitchBot has these finger press things. Press on buttons for you. So nice.
I have one here somewhere. Because it's nice because if you don't have like a smart machine, it can like actually pull a handle and it will press the button at the coffee machine. It's a really nice toy, and it works with Home Assistant out of the box over Bluetooth. So it's a really cheap and nice device to get your dumb coffee machine smart. Okay.
It turns on. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, but it turns on.
That's definitely. That's important.
Or for the
I see that now.
With like the filter coffee, you can put it ready when you go to sleep, like with water in it and coffee. And next morning it will turn on and you have fresh coffee waiting for you.
Yeah, do the work. It's just at a different time. Yeah, Paul's version is great. He has connected an espresso machine that does nothing except collect data.
Do you need an account?
You need to-
No.
it's the
Sorry.
Philips machine, no, Nespresso, made by Philips. Ah,
For the security of your coffee.
for the security of your
Yes,
coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, we're full circle here. This is amazing. Let's go to the next one.
I mean, well, are we going through all? Yeah, IKEA, a desk.
Cool.
I
You guys
didn't
can go
realize
up and
it was
down.
a smart desk, by the way. I was like, it's just a motorized desk, but it's smart.
It's Bluetooth.
Bluetooth.
I
Cool.
think assistant.
Cool.
Then we have Matcom, also Bluetooth. Pretty cool if you have them. I haven't seen them in a while before. But the next one, I think we should definitely talk about because I think this is probably one of the coolest features in Home Assistant right now. This release.
So, private BLE device trackers. What does that mean? There are every Bluetooth device has a MAC address, and it's kind of like a unique identifier. And when they broadcast, they tell, "Hey, I'm this identifier." Now, what happened is that, especially in grocery stores or other retail stores, they were like, "Oh, great! Your phone and your watch are broadcasting packets, and we can actually track you across stores, and we can see the customer journey throughout the shopping mall, which shops you're in or which aisles you're in." And so companies were like that were making phones, watches, Apple and Google, they were like, "This sucks." So they came up with a way where they are rotating their MAC address, and just like your two-factor authentication code that is like every 30 seconds it generates a new number, this will, based on a certain key, generate a unique MAC address. And if you know that key, then you know the key combined with the time, you know which device is broadcasting with which MAC address. So what the private BLE device tracker does is that you have to retrieve that key, because without we cannot make up that key. So you get that key, for example, from on your Mac. You can go into your keychain. You get that key from your iPhone or Apple Watch, and you add it to Home Assistant, and now Home Assistant can track your phone or watch. Just like that. Yeah. And so no extra apps necessary, because you might not realize, but especially Apple devices, they send out a lot of Bluetooth packets, like all the time.
Yeah. If you scan it, it'll scare you.
It's
So
really scary. Yeah.
Overwhelming our Bluetooth proxies.
But the good news is with Bluetooth proxies, you can actually do like a bit of room presence detection, right?
Yeah. You can detect like how far away you are from a certain point and then determine which one probably would be you're the closest to, and maybe say, well, he's in room X or Y.
Yeah. Here's a question from Scott. Is this an iOS only thing? It is not. I think Android has it. I haven't actually wouldn't know, but I also don't know if Android allows you to fetch that key. So
that's the issue.
Yeah. If you can get the key, we cannot replay the MAC addresses, so you cannot track your own devices. It also, and this is good to say, this doesn't allow you to track random people, right? Like this, if you don't have the key, you still cannot track. You just see different devices. You don't know if they belong together. So obviously, it will stop retail stores from tracking you. It also stops Home Assistant from tracking you unless you have this key. Yeah.
So for Apple devices, that's why it's mentioned. This is like just available if you have if you are in the Apple ecosystem, you can just go into your keychain and retrieve it.
Yeah,
it's just there. There's an interface for it. You can search it.
Yeah.
You will be done in a blip and it will track you. It's pretty amazing for the especially with the watch and the phone. I think that for me, like I'm in the Apple ecosystem, I think I'm pretty happy with this change. I think this is a big one.
Yeah,
it's great for presence detection because like motion sensors are like okay-ish, but if you're like sitting still somewhere, then this will be awesome to detect presence.
Well, you can also use mmWave, right? If you want presence, but of course then you don't know this plus presence plus who is present. So that's really cool.
So that's even cooler. Yeah.
Marcus writes in the chat ESP presence, which is a firmware you can run on an ESP chip that does a similar job. It can do this as well. So yes, it's similar. However, this is done natively by Home Assistant and works through the ESP Home proxies.
Yeah.
So the big difference between ESP Presence and what we currently now offer and can do is that you can use your ESP device for multiple things and not just for ESP Presence. So it can like proxy your, I don't know, Xiaomi scale or temperature sensors and track your Oral-B toothbrush while it also like does presence detection. And meanwhile, maybe you like, I don't know, your IKEA Dyson desk and whatever else you have in your home. So this is like similar functionality, but more multifunctional.
And so this is actually the way we set up Bluetooth proxies, is that our ESP devices that are Bluetooth proxies, which by the way are faster than Bluetooth USB sticks in Home Assistant today, because they've been so optimized, they are generalists. They don't know what they're proxying. So because they don't know what they're proxying, every Home Assistant update makes these devices more valuable, right? And so putting ESP Presence is a great project, but your ESP chips can only do a single feature. Plus, updating all of them is kind of like, more work than it should be. A Bluetooth proxy, you don't update those proxies anymore, just Home Assistant, and you will get more features over time.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm just picking up a random comment. Can I get mobile select and delete for devices entities? We have, if you go to the devices page, then you can select many. You can first also filter by integration and state, so it will be easy to select all.
Yeah, and if you don't want some integration to pick up new devices, you can do that too. Like there's if you click on the options of the integration and then system options, you can check a box to not discover new devices anymore. So if you're satisfied with your Bluetooth stuff that's detected, like your beacons, then you can disable that.
That's a nice tip, because many people will not know that. And for example, in my case, my neighbor's toothbrushes keep discovering, so I had to check that box. I think
that's
many people
ignore,
have the
right?
same. Yeah, but it was just an example, right? Because at some point you're like, I don't want to discover any more Bluetooth device because I know I have all of them. And this feature is actually a bit hidden, so maybe it's good to show it.
Yeah, I don't have it enabled.
Well, I wanted to show. So we've been talking about Bluetooth proxies, but we actually haven't explained to people fully what Bluetooth proxies are. And this actually made me realize. So we have a website to create Bluetooth proxies, and if you've been around the project for a while, you know that I'm just going to open that website. I'm not typing it out of the top of my head. So this is the website. I'm not going to tell you the URL because we're moving this website. So it's really cool. It explains what Bluetooth proxies are. You can buy like an M5 Stack Atom Lite, relatively cheap, or a Power over Ethernet OliMax, or any ESP32, turn it into a Bluetooth proxy right here from this browser page. Now, these websites got lost. People didn't remember them. People couldn't find them. So we've added them to the ESP Home website. So you go to esphome.io. And again, I said before, the ESP Home is our way for allowing users to create their own smart home devices that are adhering to our values, right, of privacy, local control. Install ready-made project. Boom. You click on this. You can find a bunch of ready-made projects. If you want to create a Bluetooth proxy, or if you want to create a media player, we have a bunch of devices that are ready to be installed right here from this website. Also, just because sometimes people have trouble with this, you can install an empty ESP Home device right here from this browser page. It will guide you through all the instructions. Once it is connected to your Wi-Fi network, it will show up in your ESP Home dashboard, ready to adopt and customize. So really cool. Uses Improv Wi-Fi. Oh, it doesn't show, but so yeah. If you want to see this page, install ready-made project. We link to the devices that we recommend for these projects. So this is the M5 Atom Stack Lite. Go to the M5 Stack shop or AliExpress, $7.50. This thing is awesome. Like it will just run Bluetooth, like $7.50. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
So there's some shipping cost involved, of course. So it's not like exactly 100%.
That's my favorite one, by the way.
You have local stores that sell them too for reasonable prices. So
yeah,
it's really an awesome device.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I want to show.
Okay. Shall we go into the next? By the way, we have a couple left.
Devices. Good. Switchbot Cloud.
It's for like there are like 4 different.
Why?
This is the most confusing. The only reason I can imagine people want a Switchbot Cloud is because they are wanting to build Switchbot in another physical location. Because if you use Switchbot, you can either use a Bluetooth proxy to directly control it, like boom. Marcel is showing the Switchbot.
The Meta logo is not on there, but it's Meta compatible.
Yeah, so Switchbot
no
Hub
logo.
Matter, so you can locally control your Switchbot devices through the Switchbot Hub. And if that is not good enough, then now you can also go to cloud.
And the Bluetooth connection is actually working way better than the hub. But don't tell anybody, but it's really fast. But if you don't have any Bluetooth proxies, or you have this hub, because the hub is kind of nice because it's like a small temperature display and humidity sensor, and it consumes very little energy. You can connect over Matter to it, or in this case, to the cloud.
Yeah.
Or maybe your parents-in-law or something, like connect to their instance or to their hub, or a remote house or something.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, Switchbot Cloud. I mean, look, this is in the end for us, it's about choice. If this is how you want to integrate Switchbot, we wouldn't recommend it. But
I think Joost knows why, by the way. Exactly.
Well, I think there were like 4 extra devices. Like there is currently we support 6 devices from it, and I thought we didn't use them in the normal Switchbot one, but I wasn't sure actually. So.
Oh, there was like some log. There was maybe some device that we haven't. Anyway, the local one will catch up. Will be better, faster, and cooler.
Probably, yes. Eventually. And last but not least, we have Weatherflow, which I saw quite a few people being happy about already in the chat. So that's good. It's they have like a template weather station you can like put up somewhere and pull the data into Home Assistant and be your own local weather agency, I guess, Meteo thingy, which is nice.
I have to say, it is based on the custom component. So if you're currently using the custom integration, this one has currently less features, but will be extended as far as I know from Yvtor. So you know. So not that you're being disappointed that it has less features than you're having now.
It's moving.
Yes.
All right. Good. Well,
it's moving from a custom component into an official integration.
Yes.
Yeah.
These are the new integrations. Fine list this time. So that's at least cool. Thank you for helping push it, by the way, Joost. Also a new feature one, NMAX Energy, which I believe is Canadian. If I'm incorrect, I'm sorry. But that works with Power now. So if you have NMAX Energy as your energy utility company, then, well, you can now pull in your data. Very nice. Well, here we go. We have 7 integrations that now have moved to the UI, of which 4 of them has been done by this guy below down there. Joost again. He has been busy this month. So Aftership, Color Extractor, Hunter Hiderwise, Nextbox, Todoist, Twitch, which you, by the way, if you're using Twitch and you're like, it will break. So you need to upgrade for the API changes, right, Joost?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like a breaking change, and now we fixed it.
And moved to the UI, both.
Yes.
And the World Air Quality Index has been moved to the UI as well, which is always great to have them more accessible for everybody. So great job there. Thank you, Joost.
Yes.
Woo. And then the breaking changes, small list this time. Make sure you go through them. It's not that much. Actually, it's not big things either, like some changes in scan defaults and namings. Check them out. Nothing special for me to report there, actually, to be honest. So, Home Assistant 2023.10.
Yeah. So important if you are wondering where's the rest of the release, if you feel like something is missing, 8 days from now, Year of the Voice, Chapter 4, it will be really awesome. We're gonna stream it right here on the YouTubes, on the Facebooks, and the Twitter. I think I selected them all, so can't miss it. Make sure you subscribe. So then follow it.
Yeah, definitely. And hit the thumbs up, the subscribe, the bell, and then you get notified. I've seen the demos. I want to play with it more. I'm talking too much about this one. Nevertheless, let me share let me share the link to the live stream. You should like hit on like there's a little, this is the live stream for next week. I've linked it in the chat. You can hit like notify or subscribe on that stream, which is 12 October, same time, same place.
Oh, people, how cool. In the meanwhile, look at the beautiful
device. I have a thing we should maybe like talk about still, like something completely out of scope, like since we're done with the release a bit.
Yeah.
Have you seen the announcements of the Raspberry Pi 5?
Yeah, I have. It's cool. I think, you know what is really, you know, they start now at 4 gigabytes, but I think they're just like this limited supply. There's going to be a 1 and 2 gigabytes that are more cheaper, which is good. I think it's cool. It's really powerful. It is more powerful, which is good because Raspberry Pi 4 was, you know, it's been an older board. You know, given like the Raspberry Pi 4 is more than enough to run Home Assistant, by the way. The Raspberry Pi 5 could do more. And the reason why that's interesting for us is because of things like voice. Like voice processing takes more processing power. So having some more power available will be great. We do not currently support Raspberry Pi 5. So it is not like, oh, this is a new Windows computer, you just install Windows. No, we need to get our hands on Raspberry Pi. They're sending us samples pre-release, so that's really cool. We're having 2 people who are going to work full-time on this, on making it supported. It is a big task, though. This is not something like happening overnight. We hope, no promise, end of this year, beginning 2024, you will be able to use the Raspberry Pi 5. So yeah, if you buy one right now, congratulations, you got a Raspberry Pi 5. Can't use it for Home Assistant. Do something else. I think it's also worth. Raspberry Pi 5 is not the same as Compute Module 5. So we have Home Assistant Yellow, we have our own hub. It is based on Raspberry Pi Compute Module 4. It is not known at this point in time if the Compute Module 4 is going to be the same shape as the Compute Module 5, or the other way around, I guess. The 5 going to be the same shape as the 4. Historically, they have announced the Compute modules generally like a year after they announce a new Raspberry Pi, because obviously they spent all their engineering resources launching Raspberry Pi. You can't also announce like the next board. They need manufacturing capacity, all that stuff. It's coming. No doubt that there's going to be some compute module because people want more power. If it works with the yellow, yay, that's great. Yeah. If it doesn't, we don't know yet how, if it's going to be yellow 5, 4, I don't know how to call it, but we'll see. That's just to be decided, I guess.
What surprised me the most on like the Raspberry Pi 5 itself was native HVAC decoding.
Yep.
4K. Like, so it's going to be quite a nice thing to have as a media center, media player thing, Plex, Jellyfin.
Probably.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. And also like the weird thing is then their adapters. I think that's an odd one to at least say something that I didn't like about it because looks like a really great device, by the way. It's still SD cards, which is not that good.
It's starting to get a bit weird. Like, here's $100 price and do a SD card in it.
Yeah, so that I don't like. And secondly, they added USB-C, which is great. But if you draw too much power from your Raspberry Pi, it needs like a USB-C PD, the 5 amps 5-volt, which isn't something you generally can get or is like widely adopted or used. So basically, have to use their adapters, which I think is just kind of weird. Then again, because
But
And it has a power button.
it has a power button, yeah.
It has a power button.
that's good.
No, but
That's good.
the Raspberry Pi 3 had micro USB for powering, and a lot of people would use an underpowered adapter. And then we even had a sensor in Home Assistant that we automatically load when we detect on a Raspberry Pi, because under heavy load, your power adapter wouldn't keep up and your system would crash. And people would blame us. And we're like, no, you used like a phone adapter from 10 years ago. It cannot give enough like a computer. So it's in a way it's okay. I think the Raspberry Pi 5 automatically scales. If it detects it's a more powerful power adapter, then you get more power available on the USB ports, these kind of things.
Right, but what it uses is the 5 amps, 5 volts, like a handshake, which most adapters do not support in the world.
Is it? Most adapters switch like between 5 and 12, or no?
That's what I read. Maybe I misunderstood that in that case. That's possible too, by the way. I'm not a hardware expert, but I saw some rants about it, and I was like, yeah, that's a bit weird. If you like tied to their adapter, but still have USB-C, that's a bit odd. So if that is true, I think that would be an odd move. But otherwise, yeah, the SD card is actually my biggest gripe, maybe. But yeah, no, it is.
I
That
believe if you have a decent power supply, it will automatically switch between the voltage. It negotiates a voltage and then select the correct one.
Good.
They have now 2 PCIe lanes, so I think one PCIe lane will be available for a SSD on the Compute Module 5, on the Raspberry Pi 5, not the Compute Module 5. So you can add an SSD. They also have, just with the Raspberry Pi 4, where they had part of the things for PoE already on the board, and you could get a hat. So if you want, you can build your Raspberry Pi 5 into a yellow, and you can have an SSD and PoE and and you get all these hats. This is why that if you want to go that route, just get a yellow, right? Like we built all this cool stuff in one package so that it just works and looks nice at the same time. Yeah. Do you guys want to see a new gadget that I got? I was having
the green.
No, not the green.
I got a transparent.
Yeah,
you got the special edition. It's missing some parts.
Seed Studio is a web shop / engineering company from China. They sell a lot of things for makers and these kind of things. They've also been selling the yellow, the Sky Connect. And I was having dinner with the CEO, and he gave me this one, which is like a it's called ESP32 C3 Sense. So it's actually 2 parts, and I'm just going to take it apart and then probably break it. But this is an ESP chip. This is an ESP.
I'm going to put you on the spot.
It is tiny. If I put it next to I don't know, what do I have?
Banana.
Your
if
thumb.
I put it next to a USB-C cable,
Oh.
It's really small. I mean, you can already see this is the USB-C port, right? Like. Yeah. It's really small. And so the C3 was basically the successor of the ESP8266. So it's a smaller, has a bit less power. And then you get this thing, which is a little camera, which you can plug on. And I hope it still works. So now they made a browser-based UI for it. And of course, I'm a big sucker for browser-based UIs for ESPs. Like we built ESP installing stuff. So I'm going to share this because it's... boom. So they have this website, and I'm going to connect to my device, and boom. Now I'm, of course, on the camera, and as you can see, it's actually doing AI on this chip. So it's doing face detection.
Oh.
Yeah, and they did some other cool stuff. So you can actually upload different models. So now I can be like, oh, I want to have, it's now downloading firmware. It's installing it right now from this website. I think they use the same package that I helped Espressif build out, the ESP tool.js. So it's cool. A little bit of our technology is sitting on this page. We're connecting. So now it can see if I'm happy or sad. I see now that my camera is kind of You can be like, I don't know, maybe it's not tuned.
It's happy.
Yeah, that's good. The one thing actually that I think is really interesting, it can do water meter and electric. So
a 7-segment kind of deal, right?
And they also added, and this is like if happy is greater than 50, light up an LED. There's like a small LED on it. So now you have some automations on it. Like it's really cool to show what's possible. What I don't like about this is that it's not ESP Home. So the data is but the data is not a Home Assistant. Like if you have a camera to read out digits, then after you've read it out and analyzed, you want to send it off, and that's not possible with this thing. But I did think it's really cool. I mean, like this is like, not to like make marketing, but this thing is $14, which is it's very cheap, right? So I think that's really cool. But yeah, it cannot get into Home Assistant. So there's definitely room for improvement. But I thought it was a cool little widget. It's called SenseCraft. But yeah, I think the fact that everything through the browser, setting up the device through the browser, that's just awesome.
To see how much they are able to like push out such a little chip nowadays. Like that's like a complete web browser, camera, processing of AI, or like image analyzing stuff. Like
makes you wonder how much voice can you process on such a little board, huh?
We have to wait on 12 October.
Something that's spoiling your dreams.
Let's switch topics.
Yeah.
More gadgets. I have some gadgets I want to show off. Yeah, no Philips Hue we have. I have some more gadgets I want to show.
Actually,
let's go.
Well, we have Marcel here. Marcel is, of course, the father of the Matter integration. Now, maintainer.
That matters.
So
do you have new
those jokes back now?
Good. You want to give a quick update, Marcel?
Oh yes, I think I saw some comments people asking for it.
Right? So,
yeah.
All right.
What we're doing with the Matter integration at this point is not a lot of development, but a lot of foundational work. No, what we're doing is like we've been analyzing where users get stuck, and we took like a shortcut when we developed the Matter integration, especially like to commission new Matter devices into Home Assistant. At this point, we kind of app use the ecosystems from Apple and Android. So we use their frameworks to quickly commission a new device into a Home Assistant, which is kind of nice because you have like this QR scanner ready and set. It's like if you are already on the Apple ecosystem, for example, you have like some Apple border routers in place. It's actually kind of nice because it's like a shortcut into Matter for Home Assistant. But if you're not, or you have like multiple systems, or you purchase a Sky Connect or a Yellow for doing thread connections, that is actually not so nice because that path is not developed entirely yet. So what we're doing is we're going to revamp this complete onboarding experience for Matter, so you can actually commission devices in a more usable way, more user-friendly way, and we're going to support the scenario to actually use the Yellow or the Sky Connect as a thread border router in your home. If you're like, I'm not going to use the Google border router or Apple border router. We want to make this experience the same as you currently have in the Apple or Google ecosystem. So scan the QR code, onboard the device into a Home Assistant, and it should really work. So we're going to put a lot of focus on there and actually give more controls to configure and control device, because that's now really missing. We have like the bare minimum now to control your Matter device, and that's working. If it works okay. But you can't really configure anything, or for example, share a device from Home Assistant to another ecosystem is currently not possible. And those are features we're going to add. So we're going to add like a configuration panel. We want to connect like Thread and Matter more together. Like at this point we have a thread integration. Nobody really knows what it does. It's like showing some networks and it's doing some stuff, but everybody's saying, what is this? And what we're going to do is bring the Matter integration and the thread integration closer together. For example, you can see a thread-based Matter device in your Home Assistant device page. And you can see it's on the Apple thread network, for example. You can click on it and you can see what other devices are on there. So we have this information if we like search for it, and we can bring it together and stitch some UI together. And then it will actually be useful. So
I have a question. Just that, like, the people might be interested in knowing about this. Like, do we support all the devices that are currently standardized by Matter?
And are currently available in stores, yes.
Right. Yeah. So that, I think I just want to like confirm that, just so that, like, you know, if you care about Matter, we have the core of Matter is there. Like, we support all the devices, and that's why we're now making sure that, like, it's easier to use and getting people going on it. And Matter will release new devices maybe in the standard.
November will, the 1.2 release we had the 1.1 release, which promised a lot of new devices, and they weren't, because it was like a bug fix release, which was also needed because it was a bit unstable at first. But 1.1 is actually a pretty stable Matter release, but limited in device types. 1.2 will bring a lot of new device types, actually. For example, energy metering. It will bring vacuum cleaners. It will bring media players. So I'm really curious what that will bring. And we're like going to align our release cycle to bring a first 1.2 based Matter server, but we're going to release it on a separate Matter server add-on. Because if we update our Matter server now, we will block the release cycle. So we will release like an experimental Matter server based on the Matter 1.2 SDK soon. So if you're really adventurous, you can try it, but there won't be any devices that use it. So it's more for like chip design houses that are actually working on Matter devices. They use Home Assistant a lot for like experimenting stuff and testing controllers, so they can actually start using their device with Home Assistant, see if it works. So that kind of deal.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's actually so cool. Having device manufacturers use Home Assistant to test and build Matter devices guarantees us that we are the leading cutting edge. If you want to have the Matter controller with the most features, well, use the one that people use to build their Matter devices.
Yeah, that's cool. We have actually contributors like from those same design houses that manufacture Matter chips within devices. They actually contribute to our Matter integration to like, okay, I was working on this. I saw it was missing and going to contribute it, which is nice. And we have like the latest news on that.
Yeah. I think another thing to mention, because you mentioned like next month, you know, the Matter meeting is in Geneva in Switzerland. You're going, Marcel. Stefan is going. We're obviously representing the Home Assistant project there. When new Matter devices are standardized or new features are standardized, only then can certification start, right? So do not expect like energy metering is live. Yay! No, then the certification starts, and it can take whatever time it takes to get devices probably recertified. I would expect there's a bunch of plugs out there that had energy monitoring through other means that will now be able to expose through Matter itself. So
it will be a really big question, because I doubt that these devices are going to be updated, because what they did, those vendors, what they did is like add the energy metering in a custom cluster. That's what it's technically called. And then you can read out the energy metering through their app. I don't know. We'll see what time brings, but we'll see if they're going to update their firmware on the device to actually use a new standardized cluster for energy metering. It would be awesome if they do, but yeah, let's see.
I mean, they can publish both data points, I guess.
Let's hope so.
Yeah. So
it's actually a question for many users. They purchase, for example, the Eve energy plug. They purchase it. They add it to Home Assistant, and they say, I can't see any energy metering yet. That's because it's like a vendor-specific data. We can't access it.
No. I guess another question. I'm just gonna like pretend I'm the user here and just asking all the questions. Matter is capable of firmware updates. All manufacturers are not required to publish firmware updates that any Matter controller can send to the devices, and they update to new versions. Is this something that Home Assistant should do?
We should do. We must do, because we're going to be a certified controller, right? We're aiming to be a certified Matter controller at some point. But at this time, there are only very little vendors that actually using the official CSA endpoints for firmware updates. So we can do what will take like months of work to do, but at the same time, we can use this limited capacity we have for a lot of new features. So it's a bit like we should do it at some point, but at this time we have like a ton load of other features to do, but we should do it. I believe the only one that's using it is Eve at this time. So Eve is actually a manufacturer using like the official CSA endpoints to load firmware updates. So you can use any controller to update the devices.
Here's a question from Omar. Will there be support for Home Assistant to act as a Matter bridge so HA devices can be integrated with any other platforms? I can answer this one. This is currently not planned. So you can, any Matter device can be connected to 5 Matter controllers, right? So if you want your Matter device, you can already link it to Google or Apple. Integrating Matter itself in Home Assistant is a humongous task that many people are working on. Implementing it a second time, but then on the other side of the equation is just it's not worth our time right now. So
maybe you can see some custom project pop-ups at some time that does part of this job or some part.
I think there's like some Z-Wave to Matter or something was going around. I mean, Philips Hue supports Matter, right? Like if you don't need to speak the Philips Hue protocol, and Google can still connect to Zigbee.
Oh, but you have to log in though.
Oh yeah, you need an account. Yeah.
You were waiting on that.
Right?
Yeah, it's just so easy. I will like throw this in their faces like forever. Like this is so much.
Maybe they will get back on that decision, because it's like really crazy. Like for Matter as a local product, you need to log in.
It's
I have to say, because we're like shouting at you forever because they do this after the fact, but from all hubs I have and all things I have, all of them require an account, and they're like even shittier than you with regards to data sharing and everything.
Like we were discussing this, right? We were saying like, well, if Tuya would like put a local API behind an account, we would celebrate it and like cheer them up, right? Because
that means local API,
more local and more private. It is the movement away from privacy after the fact that we cannot stand.
Yeah, that's a the big deal with you. Now we're back at the Hue discussion. The big deal is they change it after the fact. I already purchased this Hue bridge, and now I have to log in. And I'm going to say this again. Many of our users already have this account set up because you needed it for the Google, but there's still a bunch of users, and you can see it on X or whatever platform. You can see them shouting like, I purchased this Hue bridge for the local access, and now you're forcing this account. And that's bad. And what I felt bad about is, okay, it's this account, and it's an all or nothing deal. Like, you have to opt in for this account, and at the same time, you opt in to share your data. And I'm saying, okay, I can agree with this account more or less, but I do not want to share my data. And that's the thing they're going to change.
Yeah,
that's actually a win. They say. Well, we'll see, but that will be a win for us, like making some noise.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Technically, we have 11 minutes left. I know. Is there any topics we should discuss right now? Besides, people have to tune into Year of the Voice in 8 days.
The 12th. This channel, same time, same place.
Well, it's not 12th of October everywhere. That's why I said 8 days. Because if let's say you're in New Zealand, and some people are, I heard.
Yeah, but that's the future.
Yeah,
I heard.
Is it?
Now, I haven't packaged this today, which I'm really excited about. I'm going to show it. I bought a birdhouse.
Oh yeah. Let me just make it bigger.
I bought a birdhouse. Yeah, I did, and it's smart, and it uses the cloud, which is actually not that good, but still, it is like of all things IoT you can buy. I now have a birdhouse feeding house for outside that is smart with a camera in it.
Nice.
I feel like I've reached IoT. Like,
Yeah, even
utopia.
the birdhouse.
I call it my Twitter. I heard that name is now available, so this is Twitter.
So would it allow you to call with the birds?
No. So what it does, if a bird comes like picking up seeds, then it will take a picture of the bird, will analyze the picture and tell you which birds are like coming to your home, and you can look at the pictures and motions and see them coming by, which is actually I think pretty fun for the kids.
You'd be like, "Oh,
Yeah,
you're
so-
eating my food. You're eating my food."
Yeah, something.
Nice.
I like, yeah, I'm not sure like why. I cannot even explain all the kids that is probably the most. But otherwise, like, I cannot think of a reason why anyone would otherwise buy it. But like this is just it is. I think the concept is cool. It looks cool. So
I like
yeah.
the look. It looks really nice, right? It has a nice feel to it. I hope the birds like it.
Depends on what
Yeah.
you put into it, I guess.
Yes, crackers, so that you like they eat them and then you see them fly away.
Right. So yeah, this one was kind of weird, I would say.
Nice.
And what else? What else did we got? You had a couple of gadgets. We had a green. Oh, I got this little thingy from my friends at Home Wizard.
Oh,
think is cool.
I like
Oh, I
that.
saw the tweakers.
Yeah.
This is so. Can you explain what it does at like from the
If it-
beginning?
Yeah, so Home Wizard is a company that does energy metering and such, so you can like buy from these plugs, and they have like P1 meters. If you have a P1 port on your electricity meters, you can buy like these DIN rail for your utility closet, which you can like then measure your phases in your home and measure power usage. So basically, they make all kinds of
Energy
equipment to
faces,
measure
not
power usage.
human faces.
Yeah, energy phases in your exactly. Things like that. But they also have a water meter and things like that. So it's all about the utility energy, and if they work with Home Assistant, by the way.
Yeah.
One of
Now,
their
not only do they
developers.
work with Home Assistant, they have a local API, and they have an option to disable the cloud. So by
Yes.
default, it will upload. I think or default is what I think by default it uploads stuff to the cloud, so you can access your data while you're away from home. You can disable that, have Home Assistant talk to it fully local, which is really nice. And now they have this sweet little device.
Yes. Which actually shows my current power usage in my home, which is 635 watts right now, and how much I took from the grid and the temperature. And well, this one at 0, it's my my solar right now because well, it's dark outside, and this is my gas usage today. So it actually like, I think this is a neat little display to have and become energy aware.
Super
The
interesting.
thing with the yeah, it's super interesting. The thing with this display, though, it doesn't have an API. It doesn't work with Home Assistant. It's just like their ecosystem. So it's for our users, and as Home Assistant, this is not really useful. If you're into the Home Wizard ecosystem, otherwise, that all the other stuff does work with Home Assistant, then this might be a nice addition, I guess. But I do like how sexy it is. They released it this week. You can now buy it. It's 60 euros, I believe, in the Netherlands.
Can you
And,
refresh it?
Well, that's the thing. I opened it up, of course. I put, but it's glued, so you have to like really. I use the guitar pick to like slowly open it up and get the glue out of the way. But there's an ESP chip in here, actually. So an ESP32. So if anybody wants to like make ESP home compatible,
OLED?
please.
Yeah.
It's OLED. Yes.
Yeah, OLED.
This sounds
It's-
interesting.
It has
Right.
a distance sensor in here. It has a temperature sensor, and it also Well, it has a couple of sensors in there, so that there's some more in there, but the chip is there, so you could maybe even solder on more. And there's a USB-C thing, and it dims down when you're not near to it, so that it doesn't consume energy and isn't always on. So things like that. It's pretty smart and boots fast. I think it's nice. I think it looks really nice. That's my main thing with this one.
So if we have that, but then customizable from Home Assistant, push in entities, long-term statistics, that'd be pretty cool.
I would love to be able to put my own entities in there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Add some voice, I heard that's going to be all the hype.
Hint.
The
Volunteers?
spoiler is going everywhere. So no, but please, Home Wizard, if you're watching, like, this is
He's
amazing. And oh, he's watching.
Yes.
Oh, hi. Please, like, make it possible to add like external data to it, or like give us some details how we can flash it. Anyways, it looks really good. That's my main point with this display. I like the idea.
Yeah, it's not touchscreen. It's literally read only, just information.
Yes.
Yeah.
And maybe it has touchscreen capabilities, but it's not exposed. I don't know.
Talking about energy detection and stuff, and I was working this month with ESP Home for the first time, and I actually have the Home Assistant Glow. Shout out to Klaas. So
yeah.
I had this like laying around for a long time, and I finally got time to flash it and make it work. But now I need to improve it more with like some batteries and stuff, and then I can finally track my energy usage.
But this is actually, like, for people that don't know, when we launched our energy dashboard, we launched it with one of we had an intern working at the time, Klaas, and he made an open source tracker. There's a lot of electricity meters that, instead of sending their data through a serial signal, they will have a small LED that will pulse, like, for example, 1,000 times per kilowatt hour. We can track how many times it pulses and compute the number for it. And yeah, then we just have your energy usage pretty much real time in Home Assistant. So it's really cool. The reference design was published open source, of course. And yeah, it's really cool. So this is what Joost has been building. It's really cool. So does it work?
It worked, yes. But I don't have any power plug near my fuse box, so I can't power it via the grid. So I need to use some kind of battery solution.
Nah, that's just you're gonna forget it, and then it's just gonna.
No, I'm too stubborn for this. Like, I want to have my data.
Yeah.
No, you just need to have a battery pack large enough to charge it once a year. That's the solution.
Yeah. But that's why the P1 ports on electricity meters are nice, because it actually provides the energy. So it provides the energy and the data, and so yeah, the device just sends it over to Home Assistant. What's the name of this thing? If this is the Home Assistant Glow, it's on. Let me see. It's on GitHub. View on GitHub. Ta-da! Klaas Nicolaas Home Assistant Glow. 861 stars.
It needs more. Deserves more. Definitely deserves more.
But yeah, this was part of our, when we launched the energy dashboard, like, obviously you can only use the energy dashboard if you know your energy usage. So this is, we try to create as many devices to get your energy usage local. So, all right. I think that's a wrap, guys. 2 hours, which is pretty impressive. We always make it, full, doesn't matter.
We'll fit it in.
Yeah. If you haven't heard yet, next week.
That's impossible. This is impossible.
Really cool. You'll see us again. It is actually going to be cool. So definitely subscribe and like down here. Hit that bell. These kind of things. And yeah, I hope everybody enjoys the release. Release has been live. Bidraco did some magic. Frank fixed it up with magic, applied it, and now the builds are super fast. So no longer 4 hours, 1.5 hours, I think, right now.
Yeah, today was a new record, 1.5, but we aim around 2 now. But today was super fast for some reason. I think it really wanted to get out.
Yeah. So. And Bidraco has some other magic behind, what I say behind, like ready, that is going to make it even faster, probably.
I not even mentioned it in the release notes, which is my bad actually. But like he did tons of optimizations again. Like this is not even a question. Every release again, he's doing tons of magic to make it faster again. So thank you so much for doing that. And yeah, it's just like he continues going. It's amazing effort.
All right, thank you everyone, and
Tune in the
what?
Tune in the 12th.
Tune in the 12th. Yes.
What's the 12?